Are you guilty of saying, I'll know it when I see it? Can you just jazz it up a bit? Well, this video is for you.
We believe the only thing that Commodore 600 does now is any serious professional quality reports.
The computer should solve all humanity's problems.
Hello, I'm Georgine and I am the graphic designer here at Transform, and today I'm going to be talking about creative feedback. Like any project, feedback is really essential to the creative process. From business cards to branding, we need stakeholder input to make sure that we're going in the right direction. But not any old feedback will do. Dun, dun, dun. It needs to be clear, it needs to be considered, it needs to be constructive in order to be truly effective. This not only helps us as designers grow and become better at what we do because we're thinking a bit more differently, it also helps you, the client, get what you want rather than settling for mediocre. But what is good feedback? We've put our heads together to come up with some tips for you on giving creative feedback so you can turn your feedback fails into design wins. Wink. Number 1, avoid vague comments or over-descriptive words. Make it pop.
No, God!
Or the most 3 feared words a designer could ever hear, along with, I just don't like it, or it looks a bit weird. These vague comments just don't really give us any direction or anything to really work with. Without that clear direction, we don't know how to create your design. We don't know what amends to make or just to make it better and look less weird, basically. Instead, get specific. The more niche, the better. So Make It Pop could actually become, this title, this call to action isn't quite clear enough. Can we try some different colors, different type treatment, and see if that works better? And don't forget to tell us your why. Knowing that why means we can look out for the problem in the future and make sure that we're not making the same mistake twice. But do avoid descriptive words. Overly descriptive words can just cause a lot of confusion. If you're at the beginning out of a branding project, they're really helpful to kick that off. But in the feedback stages, it actually really muddies the waters because it's really easy to interpret them in different ways. For example, it needs more testosterone could actually become, the colors look a little feminine. Could we please look at some different options and routes that make it a little bit more masculine for our target audience? Great design has the power to turn complex issues and problems into beautifully crafted, accessible design. It is a creative medium, but it is actually grounded in a lot of functionality, so rules still apply. Some colors, some fonts, some shapes, they just don't work together no matter how hard we try and push them to. And one project, it can't solve all your problems. This wonderful piece of real-life client feedback by Marla Zebra is a really great example of that. A logo cannot and should not be telling everything.
Listen, give me all you got!
It shouldn't be telling your business story, how much your services are charged, or how you like your coffee in the morning. It only needs to answer one question. Who are you? By asking for everything in one design every single time, you're actually just going to be setting yourself up for disappointment. Instead, work out what that one goal is for each project and tell us at briefing stage. That way the designer can keep tracking back to it and making sure the design is achieving that one core goal. And if we don't think that's actually possible within the project constraints, we will tell you, we will let you know. And I promise this is not us being awkward. We just want to make sure that you have the most beautiful design for your business. Number 3, consolidate feedback into one place.
You got a gift, my friend.
Multiple stakeholder projects are really difficult for everyone. There is feedback flying in from all different directions. You've got email threads, you've got meetings, you've got PDFs, you've got some bloke in IT who sees it once, doesn't know the project and decides that his comment is the most important thing in the world. I see you, Dave, I see you. All we really want is it laid out in one place, in a clear list, because that just makes sure that it avoids any confusion or mistakes being made or anything being missed. You can do this by having one project manager who everyone feeds into, and that person then feeds it on to the graphic designer. If there's any copy amends, please make sure they're written down, because otherwise you are going to get spelling mistakes, I promise you. Any client-side internal queries need to be done before it comes to the graphic designer, unless you need our input on that query. You can use an online Excel sheet, a Word document, or one PDF that is shared around everyone so all the amends are in one place. If you're doing a video feedback, try using frame.io, and that's a really great way of timestamping different comments that everybody can see. Number 4, and the final point, please be kind.
Be nice. Come on.
Sometimes you might be having a really bad day and you're just not really in the mood for a feedback session, but you get dragged into one anyway, and at the best, the feedback is all negative and there's no positives to take out of it. At its worst, you just rip into the designer instead of the actual design itself. We all know that horrible sinking feeling when a negative is piled on top of another negative. It's not very nice, you lose motivation, and your designer will be frustrated. If you do have a lot of negatives and there's not a huge amount of positives, try and opt for the sandwich technique. The sandwich. Sandwiching it between a positive, a negative, and a positive, even if it's just a tiny, tiny little positive, it just helps take that edge off that negative criticism. Knowing the positives isn't just important to, well, stroke our egos and stop us from falling into a pit of despair after an hour of criticism from a logo that we spent half our life designing. But anyway, it also actually means that we know what the positives are so that we can keep designing things that you like, that your clients like, and make sure that we're not making those same mistakes over and over again. Keep these tips in mind when you're giving your next bout of design feedback, and you will not only have a beautiful, better design, you will have an even better relationship with your graphic designer, that genius graphic designer. Me, well, oh, thank you. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more, hit like, subscribe, and comment. Let us know what is the worst feedback you've ever been given or that you've actually dished out to someone, because we've all done it. Don't worry, we've all done it.